what's trending in your area.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
We share the road with them every day, but are they putting you and your family in danger? Our I-Team uncovers a spike in truck drivers accused of DUI, and if the pandemic could be to blame. Our I-Team investigates.
But first up, a new mayor, new schools, new construction, and a lot of change happening along South Carolina's riverfront.
North Augusta is booming with new buildings and new businesses, and city leaders say their plans for the future are full speed ahead right now. News 12's Nick Proto live for us off of Belvedere Clearwater Road, where plans for new schools are in the works. So Nick, the city seems to just get bigger by the day. I guess they've got to grow in that direction.
Yeah, Laura, not one, but two new schools going up in this area here behind me. I spoke with new North Augusta Mayor Britton Williams today. He's just in his first month on the job, and he says he's looking at ways to grow and develop the city beyond what we're already seeing. And he says if they do it right and they manage it well, it'll benefit everyone.
We're beginning that process.
The process of developing North Augusta.
We theoretically have the ability to almost every park or corridor of North Augusta in the future to have some type of growth or development.
New Mayor Britton Williams says his primary focus is downtown, creating an area where people want to walk around and hang out.
We have some green pockets of space downtown that we're not utilizing. We got to make it as a destination for citizens.
As more people and businesses move into the area, the school system is adjusting as well. This week, city leaders approved construction to build two new schools for students in grades K through 8.
This is just something that we've been talking about for a while, so it's really good to see, when you start to see that movement on the governmental side of things.
New schools will hold 750 middle school and 500 elementary school students. Wrdw says they're not yet sure which schools will be impacted.
Those middle school seats are really, really needed.
Williams also hit on the seemingly endless development off Exit 5. He says even though we're seeing new buildings and businesses pop up, it won't change the city's hometown charm.
The growth on Exit 1, Exit 5, the east side, all of that is going to happen, but that doesn't have to take away from what it takes, why we love North Augusta.
Now, when it comes to breaking ground on those new schools, Wrdw says they're hoping to do that this fall and be finished up with them by the end of 2022. Guys?
Sometimes it's hard to keep up with all of the growth, but thanks for bringing us up to speed on some of that.
You know, it's also Third Thursday in North Augusta. That means local eating, a lot of local shopping. And here's a live look downtown. You want to head out, you have plenty of time to support the small businesses. This is going on until 8 o'clock this evening. Not a bad night for it as we check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill. And we see some people out there just enjoying the sunshine, Riley.
Hey, it's beautiful out there, and it's going to stay very nice through this evening. Maybe you're heading to Third Thursday, or maybe you're heading out to Thirsty Thursday at SRP Park. The Woodpeckers taking on the Jackets. Weather looks great for baseball this evening. We'll have a look at some even hotter temperatures heading our way in just a little bit.
We have new details tonight of the double murder of two women shot to death at an Augusta apartment complex. New autopsy results show one of the victims was pregnant. It's been a week now since the murders of 26-year-old Deshae Moulton and 40-year-old Latoya Oglesby. The two were shot and killed at the Magnolia Court Apartments off East Telfair Street. The coroner tells us Oglesby was shot a number of times. Moulton shot once in the chest. We're also told Moulton was in the early stages of pregnancy. Right now, two men are behind bars charged with the women's deaths. 21-year-old Julian Mays, 21-year-old Tyler Prather. Both are charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and a weapons charge. We're continuing to follow the investigation closely to keep up with us on the air and online for the latest updates.
The search continues tonight for 2 men missing from Richmond County. These are some photos of 54-year-old Edward Johnson. Deputies say he was last seen nearly a week ago driving the truck right there you see on the screen. It's a gray 2004 Nissan Titan. We're told he was wearing brown pants, a khaki shirt, rubber boots, and a brown hard hat. If you have any information on where he could be, you're asked to call the sheriff's office at the number on your screen. Deputies are also still searching for this man. We first told you about Marcus Simpson yesterday. He was last seen over the weekend leaving his home off Farrington Drive in Hepzibah. We are told he suffers from an altered mental status. So if you have any information, you're asked to call the sheriff's office.
Well, with the I-20 corridor running right through the heart of our area, most of us share the road with big trucks every day.
But our I-Team found DUIs are on the rise for commercial drivers, putting you and your family at risk. Driving an 18-wheeler trailer with 40 tons of cargo comes with extra responsibility.
Yeah, the truck is so big and you have so much weight, you have to always be in your right mind, right frame of mind when you're behind the wheel of one.
Michael Hubley's been hauling cargo up and down I-20 for 26 years.
I've seen it all, pretty much.
Some things he can't unsee.
I've seen cars go up right up under big trucks, and seen big trucks go right over cars.
You can't stop a truck, especially like this, when you're hauling 144,000 pounds.
Which is why state troopers are concerned with what they're finding behind the wheel of these trucks.
Where you headed to?
We're finding anything from alcohol to marijuana to methamphetamines to ecstasy, basically any of the 7 scheduled drugs.
Our I-team found DUI arrests of commercial drivers are on the rise.
Just this year alone, we've had 250 DUIs, and that's just in 4 months.
Our I-team crunched the data and also found truckers accused of DUI in 72 crashes on Georgia roads so far this year. Just 8 months ago, a trucker accused of DUI changed Michael Johnson's life.
I look back on that day and thank the Lord above that I am still here.
That is what's left of the silver Kia he was driving on I-20 when deputies say a truck driver under the influence of drugs didn't slow down for traffic stopped ahead.
Next thing I know, I just hear a loud explosion. And then I'm waking up, people banging on the window and trying to get me out of my car.
Since then, he has been in and out of doctor's offices for months with neck and back injuries.
I have to get people to cut the grass now. I can't go out and cut the grass like I used to. Can't do the yard work. Playing softball like I used to. I can't go play softball. It's hindered a lot of things that I used to do. I used to go out and do things with my kids, but that's slowed way down.
The Chris Hudson Law Group is representing Johnson in court, and attorney Chris Hudson, who also serves as a part-time judge in traffic court, says their caseload for this type of accident has grown.
Yeah, at present, we probably have 2 or 3 DUI trucking cases on our docket.
That wasn't always the case.
I can tell you that it is alarming because 20 years ago when I first started practicing law, it was very rare to see a DUI accident involving a tractor trailer. But it has been an uptick on my side being a personal injury lawyer.
In response to the uptick, Georgia State Patrol has teamed up with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety and local law enforcement to start road safety checks for big trucks.
There are drugs that can keep you awake longer. We found those on some of our road checks.
3 weeks ago, they held a safety check in Grovetown, pulling truckers over at the I-20 westbound way station. They arrested 3 truck drivers for DUI right here in our area. 6 days later, they arrested another 6 truck drivers at a checkpoint on I-16, seizing 67 grams of meth and 4 grams of heroin.
I agree that they need to be charged, because if I had my family out on the road and one of these was to hit them and kill them, it'd be just breathtaking.
At these safety checkpoints, our I-team found so far this year a total of 10 truck drivers charged with DUI for marijuana use, 4 charged with DUI for pills, and 6 arrested for DUI for alcohol. Officers say they found 18 drivers with marijuana in their truck and 12 more with other drugs. But why the recent spike? While we can't know for sure, truckers say some of the industry requirements have changed, and the pressures are different than they used to be, with most logbooks now electronic instead of paper.
Trying to beat the logbook, just trying to hurry, but some of them is just trying to run, and trying to beat that 11-hour running time, and they're just getting in lots of trouble.
Truckers we spoke with also point to delays at shipping and loading docks, adding times to their trips for safety protocols and short staffing from the pandemic.
With the electronic log, it's steady, constantly run, so then the driver got to try to make up time to get somewhere, to get offloaded.
So could those pressures be adding to the pressure to stay awake longer or unwind sooner? What did your kids say when they saw the vehicle?
They started crying.
And how was that for you, knowing that you could have left them behind?
Yeah. Emotional.
Whatever the cause, Michael Johnson says it isn't worth a life. And so, talking with the Georgia State Patrol, another possible cause here really could be stronger enforcement. They say since they've seen this uptick, they have really been out there. They've been doing these safety checkpoints, so that is leading to more DUI arrests. But GSP says they do plan to keep holding those and arrest any truckers that they see DUI.
Right, and as you pointed out, trucker fatigue has been a problem for years. Add alcohol to that mix, and that's a dangerous situation.
Or these performance drugs. Also, we had an attorney tell us that they're seeing a big problem with the non-FDA approved pills. You see them beside the counters at gas stations. They say they're also seeing a problem with truckers taking a lot of those caffeine-related pills.
Sure.
And you can pop DUI even for something like that.
No doubt about it. And in this area, we cannot avoid the interstates and the big trucks.
Yeah,
they're with us.
They are all over.
Part of our lives. Okay, Augustus Ems Subcommittee with another meeting under its belt, this time to get a little more clarity on response times. There's been a lot of concern about that, but in the meeting, committee members were presented with some data showing an increase in the average wait time from when fire EMS arrives on scene to when patient care is transferred to Gold Cross, then onto the hospital. City leaders say there are several possible reasons for the longer wait times, but the root of the problem is still unclear. We're taking a closer look at the data and what the next steps might be to try to fix the issue. And that's a story that we'll have for you tonight on News 12 at 11 o'clock. Tonight we're following up with local businesses as they take on another challenge.
For months we have seen them struggle to hire a full workforce. Now there's new hurdles in the mix as they juggle new mask guidelines, food shortages, and rising prices.
News 12's Wrdw is live in downtown Augusta. Will, how are business owners handling these challenges?
Well, business owners say that they're really rolling with the punches here and making adjustments as they go. We're going to turn you right here to this window here on front of one business here on Broad Street. You can see these signs are on almost every window here downtown, warning people of the new COVID procedures and guidelines that they are following. And many of these local businesses that I spoke to say that making adjustments and adapting on the run is key here, and as they struggle with keeping those employees and customers coming through their doors.
As people began to get their vaccines, businesses looked to open their doors and lose the masks. But when we spoke with local businesses about their current situations,
Tragic. It's very unfortunate.
asked for what it's like trying to find employees right now.
Needle in a haystack. Yeah. Trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Mary Waters is the general manager of New Moon Cafe in downtown Augusta. Since the new CDC guidance came out saying masks aren't needed indoors for people who are fully vaccinated, they've given people a choice.
We did have signs, but as I said, we took them down this week. We encourage whatever people are comfortable with, but it's not a requirement.
That's why these signs hang in many businesses' doors, and they're not worried about people who aren't vaccinated or wearing a mask. But as more people come in without masks, they say finding employees is their biggest concern.
We're hiring all positions right now, and we're just in the past week, I'm finally starting to get resumes and applications in, but it has been an uphill climb.
Over at the brunch house, they're in the same situation.
Really just finding qualified people that want to come work, finding anybody that wants to come work. That's really been the main struggle.
The light at the end of the tunnel to get back to normal is still far away for many that have struggled.
And it's a growing process, and it's going to be the same thing coming out of the pandemic. It's going to be a growing process.
And many of these local businesses I spoke to on Broad Street say that almost all of them are in the same boat. Like we said, they all have the same signs hanging up in their windows. Almost all of them said that they're going to continue to have their staff wear face masks until they feel that they're no longer needed. Guys?
We're hearing it time and time again that the biggest challenge right now is just hiring people to do those jobs. Wrdw live in downtown Augusta for us.
Still ahead, the two-state is behind the rest of the country when it comes to getting people vaccinated. We're taking a closer look at the numbers and the reasons why.
And NOAA released the hurricane outlook for this coming up hurricane season, and we are already tracking a potential system. We'll give you an update on that and near record heat heading into next week. All that and more coming up next. So this is going to be a dry heat for us through the weekend, but as those morning temperatures go up next week, that humidity will as well.
Well, it is officially farewell to the mass vaccination site in Washington County. This is the state-run site at the Word of Life Church in Sandersville. And 7 other vaccination sites along with this one opened back in March as the rollout got underway in Georgia. Contracts with the state expire tomorrow, though. No plans to extend them, so that is why they are closing up shop.
That is one of the larger ones we saw. Infection rates, hospitalizations are down across the two-state, and so is the demand for vaccines.
Both Georgia and South Carolina are behind, though, compared to the rest of the country when it comes to getting everyone vaccinated. Our State House reporter Adam Minzer has been crunching the numbers for us on the South Carolina side. So, Adam, how does South Carolina compare to others when it comes to vaccination rates?
Richard and Laura, fewer than 50% of all South Carolinians have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, that's specifically for adults 18 and older. And everybody I spoke to today says they want to see that number change because right now we're in the same category as 9 other states, Georgia included.
It's slowed down, but it's still progressing.
According to CDC data, 49.1% of people 18 and older in South Carolina have gotten at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, putting our state further away than most others from the Biden administration's goal of 70% of Americans vaccinated by the 4th of July. But DHEC says they have a plan.
Part of it is now focusing on specific subgroups, trying to understand more about why are some people vaccine hesitant.
One group in particular, Dr. Kelly says DHEC needs to target is young adults. 14,000 doses of vaccine have gone to people ages 20 to 24, 4 times fewer than people ages 12 to 19, some of whom have only been eligible for the vaccine for a week.
The parents are concerned about their children. They want to make sure that their children, their teenagers, are safe from COVID-19, but that the slightly older young adults, they still feel immortal.
For teenagers, Kelly says DHEC is looking at school-hosted vaccination clinics and maybe also giving them some free swag for getting the shot. For young adults, Kelly says DHEC is still finalizing a strategy.
But we also have some exciting conversations right now by looking at what other states are doing about incentives.
And if you guys are thinking the same way I will, no, there wasn't any mentions of South Carolina taking up that same policy that Ohio had and having that $1 million lottery for people getting the vaccines. But Dr. Kelly did tell me there is some bright spots when it comes to vaccine hesitancy amongst minority groups. She says every single month, less and less people are waiting to see whether they should get the vaccine or not, and they're rolling up their sleeves. Reporting live from the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, Adam Mitzer on your side.
States are getting creative to get people interested, so we'll be curious to see what they come up with. Adam, thank you. And here's a closer look at how vaccine stats compare in the peach shade. According to the Georgia Department of Health, 38% of Georgians eligible to get the vaccine have gotten at least one dose. 31% are fully vaccinated. That is 4% lower than South Carolina at 35% of the state fully vaccinated and way behind the national average.
Some breaking news out of Lincoln County just coming into our newsroom. We're learning one person is dead after a car crash in Lincolnton. Details are just coming in, but we know this happened right around 3 o'clock on the Augusta Highway near Plantation Road. 2 cars and a motorcycle involved in this. The identity of the person who's been killed has not been released, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out more. In brighter news, a second major of the year underway over on the South Carolina